Financial Resilience Beyond a Pandemic. Hi, I'm Andrea Espinoza. I'm a tour manager and financial advisor. And if you're watching this right now, I simply want to start by saying congratulations on making it through one of the craziest, most unprecedented years of our history here on Earth. I mean, wow. Just need an exhale. I feel like this is one of those videos, post-apocalyptic video. If you're watching this, except this is post-apocalyptic video for our finances. And I'm excited today because unfortunately for me, and I guess fortunately for you, this isn't my first rodeo. A couple of years ago, I lost out on three tours back to back to back that left me without work for 8 months. I went almost 9 months before I saw another paycheck. And I didn't have another source of income at the time. I was simply touring 24/7 and then not. And so if it wasn't for my mindfulness and my spending habits, I would not have been able to survive that time period as well as the 2020. Today, I'm excited to share with you 4 action steps that you can implement right now that will have long lasting effects. And while they are simple, they are not necessarily easy, but neither is life. And every day that we wake up, it's a choice to choose our hard. So I'd rather deal with the mundane and the boring because finances are boring. I'd rather deal with that now than to have to carry that into the future. The first action step is paying yourself first. When I graduated college, I graduated with almost 24K of student loan debt. And while making very little money, I was able to pay that debt back in 4 years' time and have a nest egg. What I did was I set aside money for myself and then I paid my debt. And I had no clue that that is what paying yourself first meant. I just knew when I was done paying my debt, I didn't want to start at zero. I had other goals and things that I needed money for. And so while it took me a little longer than I would have liked, as if you implement this, that could be the case for you as well, I was able to still have money and still be putting money away for my retirement and for my future just by taking a tiny portion of my income to put to the side. And so the action step is to take the first 10% of any money you ever receive, including your tax refunds, a gift, doesn't matter. Take 10% of it and set it aside. Set it in an emergency fund. If you have your emergency fund built, set it in a retirement account and invest in whatever you need, but take 10% of your money and put it to the side. The traditional way of saving money is to pay your debts and then to pay your bills or however, and then you save. I am challenging you to think about it in an entire 180 way. Pay yourself first, not the now self, but the then self. And then you will thank yourself. Emergency funds are lifeline. And a couple of years ago when I was out of work, they were everything, and that's how I made it through and through the pandemic. Typically speaking, you don't want any more than 6 months of your emergency fund in an account, right? If you have more than that, that's what we consider to be lazy money because your money should always be working for you. And we like to think it's in a bank, it's working for us, it's safe. I mean, if you have to use a bank, use a bank. However, I suggest getting a higher yield savings account. Personally, I enjoy using a robo advisor account, and that is where I put my money. And so I have 3 months of my lifestyle needs saved in an account that's similar to a bank or a credit union, something where it's liquid. I could go, I could pull out cash, great. I could pay for an emergency, great. And then the other 3 months are in a high yield savings account that would take me anywhere from 3 to 5 business days to get my money out should I need it. However, those are growing exponentially faster than the zero point zero 0.01 to zero point zero 0.03 to maybe a zero point 0.5 somewhere rate of return that you're receiving from a bank. And it's just a great way to start thinking about having your money work for you and having separate accounts. Now I have an emergency fund that's a robo-advisor, I have an investing account that's a robo-advisor, and I have a vacation fund. And every month it's wonderful. I get emails that say, okay, this amount is being deposited, this amount is being deposited. And if you need to stop it, by all means, you can adjust. However, automate, 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 automate. Get to know that word, automate. As soon as you can automate your finances, the easier it is for you, the less you have to think about it. It's more work upfront, 100% for sure. However, it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour of your time right now, and it is 10 years of worry later. Again, choose your hard. Number 3, budgeting, aka building boundaries for yourself. And since the new year, we all have resolutions. I want to save this. I want to start doing this differently. And 100% transparency, full honesty, it doesn't happen overnight, right? Our behaviors, if we love shoes, spending money on shoes, we can go without a month, but if there's nothing in place, we're gonna spend money on shoes later on, right? If that's your thing, that's your thing. So the key is learning how to change your habits slow and steady. And one of my recent favorite tools that I have used that has been just mind blowing because it's so simple, and I could have thought about it a long time ago, but I haven't, is having a spending account. And then it's an entirely separate account. It has its own card, and every month a certain amount, say $300, is transferred into this account. And I can spend that money without feeling any guilt, shame, embarrassment, like I'm wasting my money. That is my money. I worked for it, and I'm going to spend it on whatever I want. For me, I enjoy eating out and I love to buy books. Those are my guilty pleasures, if you will. And so every month I know I have this much in this account and I will not go over it. This is a new barrier. This is a new behavior direction in that you keep going the same way, you're going to keep getting the same results. You put a new barrier or boundary, and now you're going to go somewhere else, hopefully somewhere better when it comes to your money. And so the key to this is automating it. And then also, when I go out, it's just with this card. On my Amazon, it's just this card. On my PayPal, it's just this card. Nothing else is linked to this card, or rather, nothing else is linked to my other cards for the simple fact that I don't wish to use them. I wish to stay within my budget, and it's a nice little cushion. And the beauty is, say I don't spend it all one month. Say, I am low on my outings that month, and then there's another deposit, and so you build up, and so then you end up having more money than you could have anticipated. But the point is that you're monitoring it. The point is that you're being diligent. It's a very simple step. It's a very small step that you can do, and it just saves you so much time. I don't know about you, but I used to hate combing through my finances. I used to hate going through my card and seeing all the crap that I bought that I didn't necessarily need, especially if I went out to eat and I had a horrible time. And I'm like, what am I spending my money on? And now that I have this card, it's not that I'm throwing the money away, but I'm bringing more consciousness and awareness to how I'm using my money. So that is step number 3, having a separate account for your spending habits and then slowly shifting from there. Number 4 is perhaps the hardest step, and that is diversifying your portfolio, and that is retirement planning. The step with the longest period of delayed gratification, as in you will not see the fruits of your labor until it is time for you to retire. And similarly to how parents have 18 years before their children go off to college, yet they don't have any money saved, is similar to how we think about our finances when it comes to retirement. You don't really want to think about it because you don't think you're going to have enough money or whatever your reason is for it. If you start today, you can absolutely be in a better shape tomorrow. And so I encourage you, 4th action step, to really get familiar with your money. Find out how many taxable accounts you have, as in your income, your stocks, any bonds, any investments, and where you're paying your 1099, that's taxable income. Find out how many tax deferred accounts you have, as in your 401ks, your IRAs, your SEPs, right? And that's paying taxes on all the gains at the very end. And then find out if you have any tax never or tax advantage, because let's be honest, there's no such thing as not paying taxes. But find out if you have a Roth IRA or if you have a life insurance policy. And Roth IRAs are a little bit harder. Yes, you do have to meet certain parameters to qualify to even open up a Roth, but they're harder because they're actual investment accounts. And if you are not familiar with investing, it can be a little bit overwhelming to put your money inside an account and just randomly pick stocks. But again, it's due diligence, right? If you are unaware, you can always find someone who knows a little bit about it. You can do your research. That's up to you. And then there's life insurance. And I never ever thought that I would be advocating for life insurance because when I was 22, I was like, what do I need life insurance for? However, there are life insurance policies with cash value. And what this means is that should I die, my mom will receive $250 to $500,000, depending on when I die, of death benefits so that she can pay for my funeral, finish paying off the mortgage of my house, and then have a little money extra. Why not? And then If I don't die and I reach a certain age, then I can start to withdraw that money tax free, which is amazing because it's compound interest. Look into it. Or if I get sick and something happens and my health insurance, because as freelancers we have to buy our own health insurance, if my health insurance doesn't cover it, I can have long-term care benefits, which are amazing because the number two cause for retirees to file for bankruptcy are illnesses and medical bills, right? This is thinking ahead. This is thinking of what's going to happen when I'm 20, 30, 40, 50 years older. I'm typically speaking, we're existing in the plane of now, right? And it's tedious, and I don't want to pay for this every day. I'm not using it. I don't see it. I have to wait. Why, right? Same with your 401k. If you were to take money out, you're penalized ahead of time. However, the peace of mind that is afforded because of all of these various accounts that are in place is immeasurable to the suffering that I will feel should I not have any of this in place when I go to retire, or if something happens to my spouse, or if I have kids, or whatever the case may be. I want to be as financially sound mentally, emotionally, physically now, so that if another pandemic comes, if an unplanned pregnancy or an accident or a fire, you name it, if life happens beyond my control, I am prepared for it as best as possible. So, the fourth step is diversifying your portfolio. The fourth step is diversifying your portfolio. The third step is getting a budget, setting aside a certain amount in a separate account, and that's all you use. The second step is putting your money in a higher yield savings account, preferably a robo-advisor or an investing account, whatever you want. And the first step is paying yourself first, is taking 10% of your income in any shape or form, gift, checks, whatever, and setting that aside for you. These are all very simple steps, some harder than others. However, trust me, please trust me when I say they make a world of difference. And I don't want you to wait for another pandemic or another accident to start thinking about your finances differently. The time is now, and it's always now, and now is all you have. So why not do all you can? I really hope that you were able to gain some valuable insight and inspiration and perhaps motivation to do at least one thing differently. One thing today can make the world a difference tomorrow. Every day that we wake up, we have opportunities to choose are hard. So choose wisely, choose in your best interest. Choose, if not for yourself, do it for your mom or your dad, or do it for your kids, for your legacy. Whatever your reason why, just do it and do it well. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to reach me at fromwordofmouth@gmail.com. And thank you. This was a pleasure and a privilege to share this information with you.